broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on AFTERBUZZ TV for another recap of the show, The Newsroom. We are on episode 5, entitled Oh, Shenandoah. A pretty deep episode here that we're going to get into today. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Sarah Mendoza.
And I'm Kendra Kabasele.
We also have on the line here Kellie Olisky. Hi, Kellie. Are you on the line?
Hi. I'm here.
Awesome. So we are here thanks for joining us, guys, and we're about to, dig into this episode. As I said, it was a deep one, so we're kind of still reeling from it, yeah. I would say. Pretty emotional episode, especially that last scene. So for those of you who have seen the show, a pretty big situation has happened here with the character Charlie.
Yes, ACN lost it's Don Quixote, its leader.
Right.
I still can't believe it. I mean, I figured it was going to happen. I just didn't want to actually see it happen. But cheers to Charlie and everything that he did throughout all 3 seasons advocating for this team.
Right. I think almost every recap we mention, the passion behind Charlie's character and how much we enjoy, watching him always rallying his troops and, being a soldier for the cause. And, up until this episode, he was hanging on to the old ACN so much. But today, we saw his shift, I guess we can call it his shift in perspective, because he's just trying to make things work under, the new management here with Pruitt coming in and taking over the network. And we see the struggle throughout the episode of him trying to get the rest of the news team on board with the new Pruitt way, with #YouAreACN, this new, this new focus for their TV network or their news network. And so there's this big struggle where it's him trying to get them on board, and the team, they're kind of pushing back a bit. And it all culminates to this final scene, where Sloan has covered a story on one of ACN's new digital apps, right? And
let's talk about that a little bit too, because the whole thing with the #YouAreACN is this whole citizen journalism movement that Pruitt is implementing to gain younger viewers, to broaden the audience, and to make the station more money. That's ultimately his goal. And we see from this app that was pitched that's basically mapping out celebrity locations in Los Angeles and New York. That's where it's live right now. So basically, pretty similar to what people do anyway with celebrity sightings and, spotted celebrities and different hashtags and things like that. When you spot a celebrity out, you use this application and it automatically pinpoints where they are. And we have an instance where Erin Andrews is upset, reaches out to Sloan because they're friends, and gives her an earful because the paparazzi was waiting for her outside a movie theater in Los Angeles. And we see kind of the interaction between her and Don and the new head of digital, since Neil is no longer around. And the back and forth and the kind of condescending talk that they're kind of giving each other. And we find out that this is Pruitt's baby. He's really excited about this. This is making money. This arrogant kid is really happy about it. Says, if you don't like it, take it up with Pruitt. And Sloan has an idea of what to do. And I know. Right away, I knew she was going to tear him down in that interview. Did you guys kind of feel the same before you saw it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no way she was going to back down from her stance. So that 180 was definitely just so she could get her opportunity to, okay, you want to play ball? Let's get this on the air and we'll play ball.
And it's such a touchy subject and such an interesting point to make just in general with this show and all the things that they talk about and how the basic backbone of this season has been the citizen journalism. And we see that a lot, and I love the debate that she has with him and putting him on blast and just asking those hard questions, answer it, and then having him have to admit that not everything that comes in through the internet is vetted and or true.
Right.
And they're just republicizing, retweeting, like acknowledging these quote-unquote citizen journalists who have no real knowledge or anything to
or care,
make statements and to be reported, and just are bored people at home.
Right.
Most of them. And in some instances, their Jimmy Kimmel example where he wasn't in Los Angeles. He was out of town with his family, and there's all that comes along. So there's so many different ways, and the way she attacks him, I feel, was so on point, and I loved it because I've seen, especially recently with everything going on in the country right now with this cop stuff and all of that and all these Twitter things and just everything going on in general, that it's such an interesting topic to tackle.
Right. Because for them, for Bree, the app maker, and for Pruitt, they know all about the internet hype, about the celeb hype. They know that that's what people pay attention to. So they're excited about this app, and they're thinking, that's great, let's get a story on it on the air, because in their minds, they're thinking this will promote our app. And Sloan is thinking the exact opposite. She's going to pretty much, put the app out there for people to scrutinize it for what it is.
Yeah, well, look at his answers. It's the price of fame that you get stalked and people know where you are, and the real possibility that you are putting those people's lives in danger, seriously.
Right.
That's just the price you pay.
Yeah. And he was like, well, this shows that celebrities are real people too. And Sloan cuts back saying, oh, like, okay, well, it's not like anybody knew that they weren't real people anyways, So all of his arguments are kind of, it's just shallow. There's no real reason behind, valuable reason behind the app.
No.
But it's what people are
even the hashtag
into.
URACN, did anybody kind of put it together? That I was sitting here watching it with my sister, and the first thing she said was hashtag you're a sin.
Yeah, that's good.
Get that, citizen journalist, you are a sin.
Okay, that's interesting.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Connecting the dots here. That's good.
It's better than what Dawn saw it as, I guess.
I thought it was better than a urine-based hashtag. You're a sin. It's kind of funny. I mean, I know it's missing the Y, but if you put it together, I thought that was kind of funny. And it goes in line with everybody's opinion in that newsroom on what a citizen journalist is. I just thought that was funny.
Right. So, she puts him on blast on the air, guys, and then, of course, we are bracing for the consequence here. It goes to commercial. Sloan is heading back into the newsroom. We hear Charlie, our beloved Charlie, who is livid because this goes against his entire mission for the episode of trying to get people on board with Pruitt's way just so he could keep things afloat. What were you thinking?
Even though deep down inside he agreed.
Yeah. You can see how torn he was in that situation, because he just wants so badly for the network to stay afloat. Therefore, let's do what Pruitt wants. But that deep down inside, he never wanted it to be this way, period.
Yeah.
And for me, guys, I kind of saw that coming with him having the heart attack in that scene.
Right. Me too.
Sam did a wonderful job with his acting in that scene. You can just feel the anxiety and in his breathing that something was off.
Just right before it, I had written in my notes, I'm worried about his health, right before. And I looked up and he paused, and that's when he...
Right. I was waiting for the moment, in a way. I thought it was going to happen even before that with his breathing.
Yeah.
And so
just taking it to that
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and the thing that I think was so unfortunate, especially about the way that it happened and because of the argument that they had, Sloan, Dawn, and Mackenzie are going to have to live with the repercussions of that situation. And because they wouldn't even give it a second. I totally understand their side of it and where they're coming from and agree for the most part with them. But also, Charlie gave them statistics. They were up from 4th place up to, what was it, 2nd or 3rd?
Right.
And
on their way back up.
Average, in 7 weeks, the average age of people watching the show dropped 3 years.
Right.
Even covering big news stories, they still kept the attention. So something was working to their benefit as far as the obligations that they have from the network.
Right.
And they just couldn't find that compromise. I mean, here we are 7 weeks in from where we left off, and it was still such a struggle, and he's trying his best just to keep everything together, let everyone keep their job, and they're being stubborn and flat out insubordinate, pretty much what he says to them.
Right.
And that's kind of how it leads it, how he leads it, and that's it.
Absolutely. I was all about Charlie's approach, actually. Even though he has that center fiber, that's the old way, I could see where he was going, because in my mind, I think that Charlie's thinking, let's get everybody on board. The proof is in the pudding. It's in the ratings that we're seeing. It's in, the statistics that are coming out here with people watching our show. If we can get it to that level, then we can start building that compromise. That's what I was thinking, that he would go full force, gain, the trust of, the audience and that attention and new viewership, and then they can start making that compromise. And Pruitt will still be happy because he's already got people watching.
I think the others were just slower to want to join that side.
Right.
And Charlie was too at first, but I think he saw the light, and then but the others were still old school.
Well, it was similar to the struggles with Reese and Leona back, last season and even in the beginning, with getting them to be on board with the new direction of the news. And even when Mackenzie first came on in the very first season, of making it more of a news station where they weren't scared to cover the big stories.
Right.
So it was basically repeating itself as far as the basic mechanics of it, but it was just a very different animal and a different thing that he was fighting, and they just didn't understand it. They were just on their high horse a little bit too much and couldn't come down off of it.
Right. I mean, Mackenzie and Dawn are two stubborn professionals, but it's for a reason. So that's just a recipe. We knew that was coming. We knew there was going to be.
I mean, and it's on the other side too. I mean, this Pruitt guy is horrible, and only sees things one way, his way.
Right.
So that's also such a challenge, and by the end of it, it turned out to be way too much for Charlie to handle.
Exactly. Oh, well, just the culmination of that final scene. I'm still.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. Well, I also, for a moment, guys, I thought that he would have a heart attack, but I didn't necessarily thought it would go that far to where he would die. I thought that this would be, something that shakes everybody up. He's had a heart attack, but at the end of the episode, we'd see him in the hospital and Will, visiting him with Mackenzie or something like that.
Yeah, because they showed him, his eyes were open and moving. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't think.
I was hoping for that too, so when Will and Mackenzie are reunited because he's out of jail, and he says it's over. I'm waiting for Mackenzie to say, he had a heart attack, but he's going to be okay. Let's go see him, at the hospital. But when she said he died, I was like, what? This is not, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, and how horrible. The last thing he says to them, aside from I'll be back, is you guys are openly insubordinate.
Right.
I mean, that has to be something that they, and he asked, is this a coordinated mutiny?
Right.
And he felt like they were attacking him. I mean, considering their relationship, that has to be really hard on those characters. And I'm interested to see kind of how it goes in the last episode addressing that.
Well, and he was like a father figure at the same time, aside from the work. I think they saw him as such, and
Right.
Well, and then Pruitt comes down to the newsroom and just wants to fire everyone.
Yeah.
So, wants to fire Mackenzie and Sloan, threatens to fire everyone else.
Right.
And we find out that he can't. Only Charlie can. So what's going to happen to them all now?
But, what I love is in that last moment, though, as angry as Charlie is, his mission is to make things right for Mackenzie and for the team. He's going to have that conversation with Pruitt upstairs and, see what he can do. He hasn't given up on them yet, even though he calls them insubordinate, and clearly they are in this situation, going against the management here. He still is fighting for them so passionately that here we have a physiological response to that passion and to that anger almost and anxiety about this whole situation. So
what do you guys think about the other story, the Princeton story that Pruitt wanted to be on air, and the way that Dawn handled that?
Yeah.
I actually think I like how Dawn handled it. I think I understood what he meant by that website turning into something negative. And becoming a revenge, almost a site for revenge. And
right.
I don't think, obviously the girl didn't necessarily see it that way because she's the victim, but I think just on a bigger scale, I think he made the right choice.
And that's where, journalistic ethics is always part of this conversation, right? Because journalists could very well just say, yes, sir, I know this will get ratings. This will put me in your good graces, Pruitt, or, Charlie, or, boss. And, I'm going to get the story that's going to get the attention. I'm going to get the story that's going to make waves across the internet about this site where people go to reportedly report their rapes.
Yeah.
Reportedly report their rapes is 3 hours. And most young journalists would think this is my opportunity, but he took into consideration the potential repercussions of airing something like that. He's looking out for her because he knew, or he suggested what would become of the story, rather than helping her, rather than bringing positive and progressive attention to a story like that. He said, you're going to be slut shamed. This guy is going to be,
he's going to win, basically, right?
Yeah. And,
not only that, there's the potential to ruin both of their futures.
Exactly. And also, this is going to bring attention to a site that could be misused by people crying wolf, crying rape, maybe. And that's going to ruin the purpose. So he brings up these points with Mary, the girl, who has started this site, and he does his very best, right, guys, to say, hey, don't do the story because of these reasons. But of course, she wants to win on her side. And then at the end there, he says that when Charlie asks if he got the girl for the story, he says that he couldn't find her. Does that mean that she has decided? Did you take that for she's decided?
I think he was just lying. He was just lying to Charlie.
Oh, I see. Because
I think he just decided not to do it.
Yeah,
got it. Because they don't know who she is. It's just Dawn.
Yeah,
he's the
I
one
think
who's
it just
find her.
represented another insubordinate
right
employee, and they were just all standing up against this new ACN.
Right.
So.
Lots of stories. And, another story of the night, guys, looks like Jim and Maggie are back in...
good graces.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now they are.
I think I jumped on the that story is annoying me now train with this episode.
Actually, I said Maggie's annoying because when Jim was professing his like for her,
right.
I said, well, she likes him too, but she's just annoying. She wasn't...
Right, she is annoying. Her character can be very annoying, but I understand, I guess, where she's coming from in that moment, because
it's what she's been waiting.
It's what she's been waiting for subconsciously, because she can't admit it to herself.
Well, that's what I meant was annoying. I don't think her character is annoying.
Exactly, and you know, to reciprocate and to be like open with your heart when you've been hurt so much, and when you know this is a guy who just got out of a relationship and you guys never, your timeline never really fit. It's hard to just say, well, I like you too.
To be vulnerable.
Yeah, to be vulnerable in that situation. You kind of have to, for me, I would take a step back, like what she did. She had her space.
Yeah.
She had him move seats.
Serious space.
So I think she wanted to think about it apart from him.
Yeah,
and she had
but their kisses was so awkward.
It was.
Because she's awkward, you know, like she, when she went to grab. Well, I thought it was cute that she called him back to to his chair and switched back. And I'm thinking, where is this going? What is she going to do? And so so when he sits down, she doesn't say anything. She just grabs his
But
face.
kudos to her and her Russian, though.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was. She's pretty good at that Russian. She should have said something
Well, I love how-
romantic in
yeah,
Russian
I love
before
how-
the kiss.
Jim had to sell all of his stuff just to get on that plane.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was funny with his Sochi t-shirt.
Oh yeah, and I love that he actually went with it just for the story, right? Gave the shirt, wrote a check, gave the watch, and now he's wearing an Olympic t-shirt and baggy pajama pants. It looks like, right?
Minus Snowden on the plane.
Yeah.
And then we have Will. Will is in jail, coming to terms with some very inner demons we see.
Yeah, this is the last little storyline we want to mention for tonight. Will in jail. It's been, fast 52 days, you know, fast forward.
Fast forward, yeah.
He's got a jailmate who's in there for domestic battery. And there's a lot of, you know,
Therapy.
wisecracking. Yeah, a lot of therapy and
Therapy going
wisecracking
on.
back and forth. And what I thought was pretty cool is when he asked him, what is your mission to civilize? Because it takes us back, right? We've only got a couple episodes left, you know, or one more next week. So to take it back there to Will's original mission to civilize and bringing up Don Quixote again, I was like, wow, we've come a long way since episode 1 and 2 with the mission to civilize when it came up. Did we think that he was going to get out quicker, guys, or did we think he was, you know, it would take that long for him to get out?
Yeah, I thought he would.
I thought it was going to be quicker, so I'm glad that it took long. I didn't think it was going to be the next day, but I thought it maybe like, you know, 1 week, 2 weeks. I didn't think it was going to be, you know, over a month. So I thought that was really good that at least he held out. And we find out that he never had to give up his source, even when we learn that she committed suicide on the steps of the DOJ.
Right. Because that could have been the ticket out, but he stayed, you know, he stuck to his guns and true to his word there. He wasn't going to give it up without the permission of the source. You know, I will say, you know, to kind of wrap that up, the only thing that I wish would have happened is that he could have seen Charlie one more time before he went.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but it was interesting just to the conversation that was happening in the cell, and just that we find out that it was his dad he was talking to the whole time.
Right. So with that, you know, I think we have some gossip that you wanted to mention or some news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, I was just reading an article from The Hollywood Reporter that Sam Waterston, who plays Charlie, gave about the demise of his character. And he said that he didn't find out the fate until the table read. And it seemed like not very many people knew. And he just loved it. He said, if I had to go, this is the best way to go. And knowing that the series was ending completely kind of made it a little easier.
Right.
And he had to say that Charlie is one of those characters that doesn't come along very often. He thought that the character was perfectly drawn. It was so clear who he was from the first day. He said, I have no quibbles with how his journey ended. Aaron Sorkin is, to say the least of it, a very special writer, and he just made a person and let me pretend to be him. I have no complaints.
Oh, love that, Sam.
Yes.
And he did
So you
such...
can read the full article on thehollywoodreporter.com. And up next, he is going to star as Lily Tomlin's gay husband in Netflix's upcoming comedy, Grace and Frankie.
Awesome. We'll definitely check that out. And, you know, he did a great job delivering that episode and really playing it out with their vision there for the episode.
And getting our emotions out. And
Yes.
that music again, too.
Great job, Sam.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some predictions here for our final episode next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you got, Kendra?
I'm still affected by the episode, so I hadn't even thought that far. But I mean, I know they had a preview to the next episode, and it's going to be Charlie's funeral. I imagine Neil will return and possibly be present at the funeral. And then I don't know what Maggie. I'm curious about Maggie and Jim and what they're going to do once they land in Havana. I think, yeah.
Right.
So
I think they're going to deliver a kick-ass story, Jim and Maggie, for the final episode. You know, the whole seasons have been about their career path, their journey, their growth, and I think it's going to wrap up for them very nicely. I'm curious as to what Will is going to say on the air, because it shows him he's about to do something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be a tribute to Charlie, which would be nice, and just I expect a good montage at the end of next episode. How about you, Kelly?
I don't know how quickly he's going to be able to just comprehend all of this. I mean, we see he was locked up 52 days and he was having conversations with his dad, and now he comes out, and the closest thing that he's had to a real friend / father figure has been Charlie, and he's gone. And I think that we're going to kind of see the impact of that and how that affects him all the way around. And when he learns what really happened on that day and the fight that they all kind of had, I wonder who he's going to take that out on, or if he's going to attack Pruitt in some way.
Right. It'll definitely be interesting to see how the entire series is wrapped up next episode. Just one more left, guys.
Too soon.
I can't believe it.
I know. Just one more week. All right. But thanks so much, everybody, for joining us for tonight's episode. Please follow us on Twitter, on Facebook at AfterBuzz TV, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Sarah with an H Mendoza.
And I'm at Kendra Kabasele, KendraKabasele.
And you can follow me at Kellie with an IE 079.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week for the series finale of the Newsroom.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.